from theepicenter.com. I'm down here at Garen and Cindy's house, and we're doing a little project that you guys would be interested in, so I'm going to show you some details on this. We're going to be adding some lighting under the cabinets. That'll be white light, that'll be controllable, and we're also going to put some accent lights up above the cabinet. So Garen's up there drilling some holes so we can run some wires, and I'm going to show you what some of this stuff looks like. We're going to be using some RGB LED lights, and we're going to control that with a little Arduino processor that's got Bluetooth 4, and so there'll be an app that'll run on the iPhone to be able to control that accent lighting. So that's what we're working on, and we're going to press on, make a little bit of progress, and I'll show you some of the parts that are involved. Before we go too far, we are starting to hook up the individual segments. Now this comes in a roll that's 15 feet long, and so if you need to make a corner, you can cut it at every 3 LED increment, and then there are special connectors that you can get, and that's what we're using this time. I didn't know these existed last time I did this. So anyway, they look like this, and they crimp right onto the LED strip. So what they look like is this, and you can see that there's wire here, and then it clips onto the next segment. So these are all segments that are going to be going around the perimeter of the cabinets. So my lovely assistant Garen has just been tutored on how to make these connections, so he's going to demonstrate it for you.
Now the connector is a little white apparatus, and you need to get your thumbnail there and clip it open like that. Now again, you see that there's a blue, red, green, and black, and there is also a blue, red, green, and black. That's the voltage wire. These can be black or white. Now that sequence is incorrect, so I need to flip it to the other end so that you have that proper alignment. So again, you can barely see it, but that's blue, red, green, and the voltage wire. You simply slide it into the guide, and this is really important that you get it into the guide. It's a little tricky, but once you get it, you don't want to force it in there, and it just needs to slide in there easily. There we go. Now, again, it slides in all the way. You can feel it make that connection. It's quite noticeable when you've completed that. And simply bring over and clip it in place. And that's what it looks like.
So Garen, what do you think about this stuff?
Well, it's incredibly easy to do. It's not quite self-explanatory, but it's certainly basic enough that anybody can do it. It has this great adhesive backing on it. You can simply take it and pull it away, and I like to remove the entire strip of the backing. You might want to do a section at a time. I just feel it's easier to work with the wiring to get that properly outlined. And you just lay the wiring down in there, and it just has a self-adhesive, so you want to gently press it down into place. And then this loose wire, we're going to simply just hot glue it into the corner like that to secure that. You don't want to have that exposed when the lights are on, because it'll create a shadow, which you don't want. So this is very great.
While Garen's installing that, I'm going to show you what the inside of the control box looks like. And what it's got here is it's got an RFduino right here, which is an Arduino compatible microprocessor that has built-in Bluetooth. Now this particular board is hot glued in there upside down. This is what the board looks like, and it's set up so that additional boards can plug into the top, or they can plug onto the bottom. And there are a bunch of different modules that can plug into this. One of them is used to program the part. So this one has already been programmed, and it's in here. Now, This gets 12 volt power from the power supply over here, and the Arduino, the RFduino runs on 3.3 volts. So this is a DC to DC converter. This one is adjustable, and I've got this adjusted to 3.3 volts. So this is providing power to the RFduino, and I'm only using this because I happen to have an adjustable one around, but if you had a 3.3 volt regulator, you could use that. Now over here is where a little bit of magic happens. These are opto-22 modules. They look like this. This one is an ODC 5H. This is an output DC, and it can handle 5 amps up to 60 volts on the output. So we're using these to drive the R, the G, and the B circuit. So you'll see that there are 3 of them hooked up here. This has an opto-coupler input, and this has a built-in current limiting resistor, and this will run down to 2.5 volts on the input. Okay, so anyway, that's about it. The Arduino is, the RFduino is driving this opto input directly, and then these outputs are pulling the lines low on these connectors that go to the RGB strip. So there's 12 volt power, and what happens is to turn on one of the segments, you just pull this down to ground. So to turn on green 100%, you would pull this down to ground. But to control the brightness, you pulse width modulate these lines. And so anyway, that's how that happens, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to put this up there. How are things going up here, Gare?
Very good. Absolutely need to have a glue gun. Very essential to get these corners to lie down so that the wires are not exposed. It just makes a neater, tidier finished product. You don't want to have the wires show, and you can simply glue them into the corners of the
Show them what it looks like. Show them what it looks like.
So here's and you just need to gently place these in, glue them into the corners like this is the best application. And you can see that we've now laid down the entire perimeter of the top here.
Okay, show them how this works.
Okay, so on your iPhone, you need to make sure your Bluetooth is on. I have other connections for other Bluetooth components, so it is now connected. Simply go to the color wheel and tap on that. And now we have color. We can simply change the colors of it by tapping on the different parts of the color wheel. Pink, blue, and just simply go through the red, yellow, orange, blue, indigo, violet.
And you can use the sliders directly to fine tune the color that you want.
And you can go all the way over and you simply get white.
Yet all of them have to be equal to get white, Garen.
Okay, that's good to know. So I like green for the Christmas spirit, and the blue's awfully nice too. That's for the disco that we might have this evening. And of course, there's Halloween orange.
Give me some red, would you?
Okay, here's some red. Looks kind of pink. Let's go there.
That one has some green. You have to turn the green down and turn the red up. You see the sliders.
So I'm going to take what do you want, red only?
Yeah, give me red.
There it is. There's your red.
All right. Fun
Beautiful.
project, huh? Well, that's about it for the color section. Now we're going to hook up the white LEDs under the counters. And then when this is all done, we're going to interconnect to this little side cabinet. That's going to take a little bit of fussing around to hide the wires, so we're going to make a trip to Home Depot to find something to do that. So how's that lighting working out for you, Mr. Mayor?
Oh, it's outstanding. Just to be able to change the mood of your environment by a simple LED light is really, really cool.
What are you making over here?
It's actually just making some spaghetti sauce so we can have spaghetti.
Well, the one thing we haven't completed is hiding those wires over to this one. but we'll get that done. And we had a little mishap on the crown molding up here, so we're gonna need
Monkey boy.
Monkey boy did that with his big bottoms. So we're gonna get that fixed tomorrow. We have all this stuff hooked up here. We have a power supply, and then we have some controllers. This one is running the under cabinet white light only. This is a single channel unit. This is the Arduino based unit that is controllable via Bluetooth 4. And then we have another unit hooked up here. Now this is a standard RGB controller that has a remote control, a standard remote control. So this one here, when this is in control mode here, then like this, we can control the colors from this wheel, okay? And when this one is turned off, okay, then we can run the Arduino controller using the RFduino, okay, and this is the color wheel. I'll look at that here, and here you go. So anyway, you can't run both of these at the same time, but it's kind of handy so that there's a remote control in the kitchen, and then when everybody's in the living room and the iPhones are around and stuff like that, then you can use the app on the iPhone. And then when you're done with this, and if you want to use the other remote control, you just touch the disconnect button. That disables the output to the strips, and then you use this remote control, let's see, to turn it on there, and then there's your color wheel. So pretty cool. We're very happy, aren't we, Gare?
Yes.
You're down there repairing the damage we did yesterday.
I did.
And over here, we came up with a pretty good solution to run those wires over to the other cabinet. This was something we got at Home Depot. It's a plastic conduit that snaps in the back, and there's plenty of room to run both sets of wires in there. And it looks very nice, and it hides those wires pretty well. So that's about it. For the Epicenter.com, I'm Epicenter Brian, signing out.